the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. And in John 1:14, it says that the Word that was God became flesh and walked among us. That eternal Word, the eternal Word of God became flesh and walked among us.
Who is John?
What we have in this country is beyond. It would be such a tragedy to ever lose it, and we could lose it, right? So you had the Jews early on in the Old Testament, and they did not practice their faith the way that God would have them. They wanted their own king, and eventually they were enslaved. And the clergy, bastardized their own word, and we see that.
You pick up that Bible.
What is your concern today about the role of faith and what people of faith should be doing?
We have this thing called cancel culture, and if Christians don't watch it, it will be canceling Christianity as well, because a lot of our pastors, our bishops, our priests, they're laying right over. The real bad guys were the guys that were collaborating. All right, that's why we're in this situation right now. We can't go to churches. We can't go into our church. Well, why? Because they could get contaminated, right? So then why are we on airplanes? I have friends that have committed suicide, and it's a bloody shame if you can't tell the difference between a priest, a bishop, or a politician. It's really sad, but this is called lukewarmness, and Christ has a very special place for them, and they know it. Some of us now, and you know them, embrace a fake Christianity where it's all happy talk. I call it happy Jesus. The world needs proud warriors animated by their faith. Warriors like St. Paul and St. Luke, who risked their names, their reputations, to take their faith, their love for Jesus into the world.
Calgary police had to send an officer to a church this Easter weekend where the leader of the gathering reportedly shouted at the health inspector. The officer was called to support Alberta Health and Bylaw Services. Police say the organizer was uncooperative with the inspector, raising his voice at them to leave the premises, a request police say they complied with 1 minute after entering.
Please get out. Get out of this property. Immediately get out. Get out of this property immediately. Out. I don't want to hear anything. Out of this property immediately. I don't want to hear a word. Out. Out. Out of this property. Property, you Nazis. Out. Out. Gestapo is not allowed here. Immediately, Gestapo is not allowed. Out. Do you understand English? Here, out. And don't come back without a warrant. Do not come back without a warrant. You understand that? You're not welcome here. Nazis are not welcome here. Gestapo is not welcome here. Can you imagine those psychopaths? Passover, the holiest Christian festival in a year, and they're coming to intimidate Christians during the holiest festival? Unbelievable. What is wrong with those sick psychopaths? It's beyond me.
I want to move on to what happened this weekend, this past weekend. The police and the Ministry of Health officer showed up at your church again. I want to show people a little bit of what happened.
This is for you. It basically outlines the fact we have the right to enter today. Just wanted to be able to come today and then at least explain the order, serve the order, and then we can stand at the back.
No, you can contact. No. You can contact my lawyer. I do not cooperate with the Gestapo. I do not talk to the Nazis. You came in your uniforms like thugs.
I just wanted to explain a little bit about the order.
I'm not interested.
I just wanted to at least have a conversation.
I'm not interested in talking. You see, this is what the Gestapo is doing. You're coming to the place of worship to intimidate and to harass. So you can make an appointment. Lady, listen to me. You can make an appointment.
Most of the churches in Canada are shut down.
like 99%. There's few that are open underground. In the city of Calgary, they're meeting underground, just like in China. There is one more church that is open, and the authorities are doing to them exactly the same thing, walking in, taking pictures, intimidating pastor, parishioners, and tickets after tickets. I already got 28 COVID tickets so far. And
don't allow yourself to be intimidated by the liberal establishment, those virtue signaling hypocrites that we see in the media and on the news. My Christianity is not for wimps. You're complaining about it because you are.
Aggressive, violent Jesus,
the British
or my
state,
wimpy Jesus?
Yes, your wimpy Jesus is good for no one.
The church flourished under Islam.
Now we begin to see. Now we begin to see. He says that the church flourished under communism. Yeah. Oh, how badly he has just let himself open for a bashing. What did the communists do to the Russian Orthodox Church? Tell me, what did they do?
A lot of bishops, lay people, and priests were tortured and martyred.
And I believe my Jesus is powerful to intervene on my behalf, because I believe in angels, and I believe angels can do amazing things.
Some of them were executed by impalement. Some were torn apart by horses. Some were crucified on the royal gates of the church's altars.
And they've been surrounded by drug cartels who've intended to go and kill them. And they've not been able to enter the houses of the missionaries because they've seen angels guarding those houses.
What did they do to Christ Saviour Cathedral? Your argument is to allow tyranny to dominate the world. There is an obligation as a Christian to be guided by love. Love in all things. Love demands that you protect those who are suffering the injustice and you oppose those who are carrying out the injustice. That is how you love. The kind of Christianity that this heretic is speaking about is a kind of Christianity that's utopian, idealistic, unrealistic, and not connected to the real world. Christianity is a way of life that deals with the real, basically saying that he would allow his mother to be raped.
Follows Jesus.
You shall know them by their fruits, and by their fruits you shall know them.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir. Guys, listen. The youth of our country have been conditioned by the liberal state, and they will never ever get the education that they need from the liberals. That is why we need to rediscover a muscular Christian faith, rooted in our own history, the history of the church.
Do you understand English? Get out of this property.
The reality of the matter is that this is the kind of liberal naivety that has been pushed by a political ideology in the Western Hemisphere. You're not interested in history? No, not interested in history. Okay? Despite the rough handling that you may feel that you've received, just so you know, I rough handle anyone that comes.
I know, I've watched many of your videos.
You don't have to go out and do a song and dance for seculars because they won't believe. They won't believe anyway. You can pray for them. That's the way it's going to be.
Can you explain to me, from your perspective, why you think classical liberalism is losing sway to liberal progressives?
It's it's because people in the media kind of are more often of an empathetic mindset, and people of an empathetic mindset can be easily persuaded to these kind of postmodern Marxist narratives.
The Christian way of life would give you the strength that you're looking for to resist the cultural Marxists. The establishment is ballless, spineless, cowards, and they are the ones that govern the police. I'll give you another example. In Glasgow, a British museum placed a Holy Bible in a vat of piss and called it art. They had another Bible and encouraged people to graffiti over the pages. Now, can you imagine any British museum allowing the Quran to be treated the same way? Probably not, no. The liberal left would be ripping out their hair, ripping their clothes, and running naked in the streets, having painted their breasts yellow, screaming about Islamophobia. What is that indicating? It is indicating that there is double standards running through our society. The reason why the Anglo-Saxons are losing their culture is because they have abandoned it. Because they have abandoned it. English people have abandoned their own culture. The process started in the Enlightenment in the 1700s. English culture used to be dignified when it followed Christian morality. Dressing with modesty, behaving with modesty. How many English white girls do we see on a Friday night dressing no better than a street prostitute?
But this is called lukewarmness, and Christ has a very special place for them, and they know it.
Media does not want to tell you about the persecution of Christians, because if they did, it would feed into the narrative that they are trying to create. Sorry, it would work against the narrative that they are trying to create, which is that all religions can be equally bad, and that all religions really mean and believe the same thing and have the same values. This is the amnesia of our culture. This is the amnesia of our culture. Why in the West are we suffering from cultural amnesia? It is because the political state wants you all. It sees you all as a problem to be managed. That is why it does not want you to know your own history. Do not believe the political lie of the establishment that all religions are the same. It is a lie. It is a lie.
Oh, go on. Here's where he puts me to the extreme right. Go on.
Well, this is what you're doing. You're popularizing the extreme version. My brother here.
Now notice,
saying that this is not what it's saying.
Notice how the liberal progressive pulls out their desperate card.
Yeah. What? And you've implied that I'm a soy boy.
You are a soy boy.
Well,
you are a soy boy.
Well,
despite the rough handling that you may feel that you've received, just so you know, I rough handle anyone that comes.
I know. I've watched many of your videos.
Okay. I'm rough handling your ideas, not you as a person. You seem like a nice guy.
I am a nice guy.
You are a nice guy. You are a nice guy.
You seem like a much nicer guy now than when you're not on the platform.
He made a statement, yeah?
You're just another ignorant man who doesn't know his history. Go and learn your history. You have been separated from your history by the liberal state.
So embrace your cross and race toward your goal. Right now we're going through a time period where things are being stripped from us, and they will, and it's good, because you understand you don't need all the things that we've been given. They aren't your given right. They're going to be stripped. We are living in this time right now where the world is going to be fasting, and it's going to get hard before it gets.
You walk home, you find your mother being raped. Are you going to do anything about it?
Right, this is what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I am going to pray. Because that is what Jesus would do.
This is what happens when weak men fit into atmospheres in which there are strong forces. They mold themselves to the strongest. Sheep follow the strong.
For we are a culture now in decline. A people in danger of succumbing to our excesses. Saint Maximilian Kolbe said that indifference is the greatest sin of the 20th century. Well, my brothers and sisters, it is the greatest sin of the 21st century as well. We must shake off this indifference.
Oh, do you believe in abortion?
I'm indifferent.
Indifferent!
Every generation of Americans needs to know that freedom exists not to do what you like, but having the right to do what you ought.
We need to start standing up.
Get out of this property. Immediately get out.
Jim, why are Christians not standing up?
This is the fear factor. But every lesson in history tells us that the greater risk lies in appeasement. And this is a specter our well-meaning Christian liberal friends, our priests, bishops, and pastors refuse to face. That their policy of accommodation is appeasement.
And the reason why you don't see Catholics evangelizing at Speaker's Corner. There is a reason why you don't see Catholics evangelizing. It's because they have become timid. And what we don't have in our society today is a muscular faith. We have a wimp's version of Christianity for pussies and for cowards. And that is not a faith that anyone will take seriously. No one around us will take it seriously.
And the Christian leaders in this Western land have reduced the faith to something so effeminate that everyone looks at it and dismisses it out of hand.
In the words of Reagan, evil is powerless if the good are unafraid.
Because we are being led badly as Christians. Our bishops are useless. Our bishops are not leaders. They have kowtowed to liberal modernity, is what they have done. And they will never ever get the education that they need from the liberals. That is why we need to rediscover a muscular Christian faith, rooted in our own history, the history of the church.
And it's a bloody shame if you can't tell the difference between a priest, a bishop, or a politician. It's really sad, but this is called lukewarmness. And Christ has a very special place for them, and they know it.
That all religions are capable of being equally good and equally bad because all religions teach the same thing. Do not believe the political lie of the establishment that all religions are the same. It is a lie. It is a lie. Extra ecclesiam nulla salus. Outside of the church, there is no salvation. It's a real pleasure debating with you. You're a good interlocutor. You really are. But I would say to you, man, you gotta pick up that Bible again. You gotta pick up that